All right. Looks like we are live here on YouTube, and this will be posted on Facebook. So welcome, everyone. This is the final week of going over the book, The Brain Warrior's Way by Dr. Daniel Amen and Tana Amen. And we're going to be going over a more brief version today, because throughout the next 14 days, I'm going to be giving you tips, tools, and support for making your brain the best it can possibly be. The 14-day brain boost. And I'll leave all the links to the different tools in the comments of Facebook as well as on YouTube. So without further ado here, let's bring up our presentation here. Okay. All right. So, of the acronym MASTERY, M-A-S-T-E-R-Y, we are finally on Y, which is basically about putting this into the long term, making sure that we're practicing this as a lifestyle, not just something that we do temporarily to feel better right now in the moment. It's how do you change your life in a way that this becomes normal, to have a great brain, to have a brain that functions the best it possibly can. Love this quote. This moment contains all moments. C.S. Lewis. So what are the benefits of a 14-day brain boost, and why you probably want to get started right now? Well, first of all, I am doing a contest for anyone who wants to join. What I'd like you to do is follow along these next 14 days and try them on for yourself. And submit to me a paragraph or two or three about why you believe that you should be the winner of a free brain evaluation. A free brain evaluation. So, jumped ahead here. Okay. So, in doing this, why would you want to get started right now? Well, can you imagine having your sugar cravings and your cravings for carbohydrates disappear within 3 to 7 days? That'd be pretty awesome, right? It would make it much easier to eat healthy in the way that you know you probably should. And you'll feel great and not actually have those cravings anymore. Your body will get used to it if you cut the proper, well, if you cut out the improper foods and you add in the proper foods, your body will adjust and it will feel normal. It'll start to feel great. You'll feel so good, you'll start to associate good foods with feeling good. That's good for foods. You'll have a reduction in joint pain or swelling in your body as a result of less inflammation. This is a huge benefit that I've noticed in following the Amen method. You'll have a dramatic improvement in digestion. I can't emphasize enough how important this is for me personally, and if you've had digestive issues, the amount of improvement you will experience on this program, it's just phenomenal. I didn't believe it until I experienced it myself, and I've had my share of digestive issues. Skin that's noticeably more vibrant and clear, improved ability to focus, improved mood and sense of inner peace, increased energy, as we'll see on the daily check-in. You rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. So you'll get to see this as it improves over time, because you'll be able to look back and look at road channel. And you will very likely lose 5 to 15 pounds if needed, meaning what is it that your body doesn't need to hold on to anymore? And through this process, your body will be able to let go of the weight it does not need. So, how does a brain warrior win back their health? We need to make a decision to commit to the 14-day plan. Get your mind right. There's no suffering required in this process. It's about abundance and connecting to what you want to add in that's going to make your life better. So number 3, make an appointment with your healthcare provider to make sure that you get your numbers checked right away, your blood glucose levels, and have them measure your BMI, height to weight ratio. It gives you some idea of where your health level is right now. And that way, you'll see even more clear evidence in addition to how you'll feel and some of the subjective factors like rating energy and sleep and quality of your habits. You'll be able to see actual scientific numbers from your blood test. So I highly recommend getting that done first and getting going on this process. If you snore or stop breathing at night, or if you're chronically tired during the day, assessed for sleep apnea. As I had mentioned before in earlier lives, when you have sleep apnea, you're not getting blood flow to your brain. You're not getting oxygen to your brain. And brain scans of people with sleep apnea look like people who have Alzheimer's. They can look like people who are drug addicts or alcoholics. It's that bad. So making sure that you get the appropriate support if you do have sleep apnea, check with your doctor. Every day taking a multivitamin, and particularly important is taking omega-3 fatty acid fish oil supplements. Now, there is a vegetarian version that you're interested in doing. I don't recommend it because the amount of omega-3s in vegetarian sources is very low. For example, flaxseed oil. And even if you get omega-3 fatty acids through the algae form, it takes so much of it concentrated in order to get proper amounts for brain health. It ends up being very expensive. And omega-3 fatty acids through fish oil is affordable, all things considered. Make sure you know and optimize your vitamin D level. Now, an easy way to do this, it's summertime, or it's just about summertime, spring. And get out into the sunshine as much as you are comfortable doing. That might mean 5 minutes out in the sunshine, and then come back in. If you're concerned about skin cancer, which I personally believe, your body adjusts as you take care of it and you do smaller increments. So just like you wouldn't put yourself under 400-pound bench press ever, if you wanted to work toward that, you start with the weight you can do. In this metaphor, what I'm trying to say is don't jump into going into complete sunlight if you're not used to it, and stay there for hours. You're going to get sunburned, and chances are there are going to be issues. So getting sun more, it's going to help with your vitamin D levels, and of course supplementing vitamin D is very helpful for a number of reasons to regulate your hormones, which helps so many things I go into right now. You can discover your brain type taking the free brain health assessment at amenclinics.com. That's the very basic version, and you can get some idea. If you want to go more into depth, contact me, and I'll give you the more full brain type assessment questionnaire from the Amen Clinics to help you assess specifically what your brain needs, in addition to some of these habits we'll be discussing today. Every day, complete 14-day Brain Warriors journal. I'm going to have a slide on this, several slides actually, showing you what it looks like, but I'll leave a link to the free PDF online, so you can just go there and print it out for yourself. This is a really critical step because it accelerates success through mindfulness. When you're aware of what the process is throughout the process, it allows you to become more wise, because you start to recognize the habits that are hurting you and the habits that are helping you as you pay close attention to all of the things that you're doing. So clean out your pantry and all the devious places you might hide low quality food in your house, at work, in your car. Remove all the foods that hurt you and keep the ones that help you. And that's going to be part of that as I'll go over today. Routines will help you succeed. If you're going to do meditation, have a regular time that you do it. When you go out, and make sure that you have a regular time, even if you have to adjust how much time you're doing it. Doing these things on a regular basis, planning your meals out in advance, all these things that might seem overwhelming at first glance, right? But it really is just a normal part of life now. Like I have a protein shake that I mix with all sorts of wonderful superfoods like turmeric and what's it called? Medium branched chain amino acids, as well as chocolate whey protein. I add in cayenne pepper because that helps with night. You may not like that. There's a way to fine tune exactly what you need and make the foods and the protein shakes or bars or whatever it is the types that you like. So let's plan this out so that you can have the most success that you possibly can. Number 9, pick a buddy so that you can this program support. Doing this together is such a huge support. Now, if you have brain type 4, the sensitive brain type, this is particularly helpful. The limbic system, the deep limbic system, particularly the thalamus, is related to bonding. And when you do things with another person, it helps your attachment system. That is your nervous system that's designed to connect with and attach to, as an infant and a child, a parental caregiver. But as we move throughout life, and great friends, this regulates our nervous system. So having a buddy is such a huge support for your nervous system on a level that is unconscious. And you'll know as you get the support because your energy will be better. You'll feel more stable in your mood. You'll be more consistent in your routine because you support one another. But this goes to a much, much deeper level of working within the unconscious and making sure that your mind and your body through your nervous system are well regulated. And finally, make sleep a priority. And we'll go into some of the strategies around how to make sure to do that along with all the other. So let's get started here. All right, so a basic Brain Warriors journal. Write down what you eat. Okay, this is how you fine-tune your regimen and make it better and better. When you're clear about what you eat, when you're honest about what you're putting in your mouth, and about what you're doing as far as your daily activity, it becomes more and more obvious what helps and what hurts your brain and your body. So I'll let that briefly there, and you can take a screenshot if you're on your phone, or maybe take a picture on the computer. And this is also available online. Okay, clean up your pantry. I can't tell you how important this step is. When you make one choice to clear your pantry of all the unhealthy foods that are taken, it's one choice. And then every time you go shopping and you shop for good foods and you don't replace empty places in your pantry with bad foods, that's another choice. So 2 choices: cleaning out your pantry and every time you go shopping. But if you buy it and it's in your house, in your car, at work, you have to use precious neurological energy in your PFC that regulates your mood, gives you the ability to plan ahead and have forethought and empathy. These are all qualities of the prefrontal cortex. If you make this one choice, you don't have to exert willpower over and over and over and over again, which is taxing to the most important, arguably the most important part of your brain, your executive center. Okay, so get rid of these foods. I'll be brief here, but you can go back and take a look at this on this recorded live video. Get rid of bread, pasta, tortillas, and other foods containing gluten. Sugary breakfast cereals, or really anything containing sugar, added sugar, that is. And there are some wonderful recipes that we'll get to as we move on. Condiments such as ketchup, soy sauce, barbecue sauce, they often contain sugar and artificial ingredients, even artificial sweetener sometimes. Often, gluten is hidden in these foods. So making your own sauces, while might seem like a huge chore at first, dedicate an hour on a Sunday after you go shopping and put together all of the things you're going to use for the week or even for the next couple weeks. And I promise it is way easier to do than it might sound. So get rid of products that contain corn, including popcorn, cornbread, and popped corn chips. Not only is this an issue with empty calories as far as carbohydrates that reduce blood flow to your brain, ultimately because of the blood sugar spikes and drops, insulin spikes and drops. But corn is one of the most, it's the top three most damaged products in agriculture as far as genetically modified and pesticide-laden foods. So corn, soy is up there as far as not great, as far as GMO, genetically modified organism. It's pesticides, which does directly damage your brain. Get rid of processed dairy foods, such as cow's milk, cream, yogurt, cream. I would say if you can find organic sources and do it sparingly, I wouldn't say that you necessarily need to give up dairy, although the promises as far as what you'll the benefits you'll achieve from this program, I can't guarantee you'll experience them if you don't cut out dairy for at least these 14 days. So I highly recommend giving it a shot. I know it's made a big difference for me. Foods that contain high fructose corn syrup and trans fats, looking on your labels and seeing if those things are included. Now, if it's a natural food and there's no label on it, chances are have you. High fructose corn syrup and trans fats, hydrogenated fats, come from processing and adding sweetener. These are all processing foods, so natural foods won't have this issue. Foods that contain sugar, artificial sweeteners, or soy, which I'd mentioned before. Even fruit juice, even 100% fresh, where you juice it. When you take out the fiber and you juice it, it spikes blood sugar, and that does not help blood flow to the brain. It can be very damaging to not only your brain as far as blood flow, but it will have you gain weight. It'll have you gain fat, because when you have a spike in blood sugar, that spike in insulin, trying to keep your blood sugar from going too high, it results in the fat, the liver store fat in the body. It turns on that process. So spiking your blood sugar, no bueno. Do your best to have foods that are not so with sugar or artificial sweeteners. The exception is stevia, and you even want to use this sparingly, but as a quick tip I'll throw in here, I don't get any kickback from any brands. This is just what I happen to like. This one's called Stir, and it's a liquid water enhancer. It is stevia and erythritol, and these are sweeteners that have been shown to balance your blood sugar and will actually help you with regulating your digestion, your blood sugar levels, and your blood flow to your brain will be improved as a result of replacing your sugars and artificial sweeteners with those, erythritol or stevia. Getting rid of grain-based foods, rice, instant oatmeal. If you prepare oatmeal the long way, I'd say that's a much, much better choice, because instant oatmeal, processed wheat, barley, rye. Just try it, 14 days, see how you feel. This is, in a sense, an elimination diet, taking out the allergens to how your body feels without them. Gradually add them back in one at a time and see, wow, maybe my life is better without them. And as I said before, 3 to 7 days, you're going to not crave these things anymore anyway. But you have to cut them completely, or your body doesn't have a chance to have that reset. Jams, syrup, again, sweet foods are going to spike your blood sugar. You want to get rid of those. Cooking oils that are polyunsaturated are very unstable, and great examples of those are corn, safflower, canola, soy, and vegetable oil, which is just a blend, mostly canola and soy from a bit of corn in there. Processed frozen dinners, get rid of them. Get rid of your processed meat, such as hot dog. There are other ways to get healthy protein into your diet. It's not a healthy source. From the nitrates to the fillers, and not to mention that it does spike your blood sugar and insulin because it's processed, even though it's a protein. So processed meat, good idea. Let's get rid of those. Soy-based foods, such as protein bars, powders, snack foods. You'd be surprised how many things contain soy. Your labels, do it once, find what works, what doesn't have these unhealthy ingredients, and you just repeat the process. So a little effort in the beginning goes a long way. So organizing yourself over a day, and then take an hour on a Sunday to prep meals and all of the different ingredients that you need for your week. It's going to save so much time and energy. You're going to feel so good. It's worth it, trust me. Get rid of drinks such as fruit punch, lemonade, and soda, and white potatoes. They spike your blood sugar as well. All right, so this is an example of a Warrior's Way journal. So looking at this basic format, I'm going to go over my personal journal and some examples, but you can see goal today, connecting to your values, focusing your mind and your intention, right? 3 things you're grateful for, who you're going to appreciate. We're going to go over all of these in more details with examples in just a moment. Write down today's weight. Let's get honest about that. Where is your weight? It's not the end all. Neither is BMI, by the way, your body mass index. Ultimately, it's your body composition. That is how much solid, non-fat weight do you have versus the weight of fat in your body. That's ultimately the most important thing. Not so easy to measure unless you have a skin conduction test on your scale or the handheld version. You can buy them at, Target, sporting goods store. My point is, weight, you'll get some idea of your progress. And it's not about harping on the number. It's about noticing where you are and watching the process as you practice these great habits. Less focus on specifics, but be mindful. What is it now? And what is it in a week from now? And in 2 weeks? And in a month? And in 5 months? Ultimately, this 14-day brain boost is about getting you started so that you can continue this for a lifestyle. And this week's focus being on year-long. That is the long term of our process. You're going to go through daily, writing down on a scale of 1 to 10, 4, 10 being great, several areas of your life: mood, energy levels, your ability to focus, your memory. You may want to ask people about how great your memory is, because how would you remember, right? That's my own inside joke. Sorry about that. Rating your inner and your decision-making skills, the quality of your decisions. And then choose 5 brain healthy habits from the following list. Your one-page miracle, which you can fit online through the mybrainfitlife.com. Start the day with 16 to 20 ounces of water. And if you're very small, like under 100 pounds, or a child, 8 to 10 ounces. So it really depends on your body weight. It's about half an ounce per pound of body weight. So I'm just below 200 pounds, so I have just below 100 ounces of water a day. And you can see how many other things you can focus on here. Again, you can download this later, and I've gone over most of these things throughout the last couple weeks. So just 5 of these, and that's what, 14, 15, 16 different things. You just pick a couple things, so you have options. Focusing on healthy eating choices one day, and making that your focus. Engaging in smart exercise. That is weight training, walking like you're late, right? So it's stimulating blood flow to your brain. Learning something new, having an audiobook on hand. So when you're walking, you can learn at the same time, stimulating your brain. Learning from at least one mistake. So quick example, this is my daily note card, and I'm going to get into more of what's going on here. But if I'm going to learn from a mistake, why would I want to learn my mistakes? It might be a silly question to some of you, but it's not a silly question because your unconscious habits speak something else. They say, this is what I'm used to, so this is what I do. Well, you need to connect to your why, and I divide this into 3 areas. what's important to you, that is your values, and connect to that in the morning, which we went over earlier on the first part of your journal. And then you write down a habit that you're focusing on today. So 1 note card per day, you might have a note card per week. Do how it works for you. And then look at an unhealthy habit, a bad habit that you're trying to let go of. Well, you get to write it down and check in at the end of the day. Guess what? You have something to write in your gratitude journal the next morning. Focusing on your sleep schedule will make sure you get more sleep, at least 7, 8, possibly 9 hours of sleep. It can be done. Practicing good decision making, taking your supplements. I have a couple little containers here that I have prepared at the beginning of the week with my supplements. I have jars, pre-prepared jars, and mixed in with Green Detox. Again, I'm not promoting any of these companies for any other reason than and it just works for me. This one is from Thomas DeLauer. Science-based green detox, super grains detox drink mix. There'll be some added super nutrients through the freeze-dried greens that are in there. And take it from me, taking fiber is great for you, in addition to having food that is naturally fiber containing. And I find that adding additional fiber is helpful. All I need to do with that added greens in there with the fiber is pour in water with my pre-filled water bottle that I have ready every day in my cooler. And I just mix the mason jar, shake it up, and down it. Okay, I often will take this with my supplements at midday is when I take my supplements. Also have apple cider vinegar. I take this at night and in the morning. It helps with digestion and with your metabolism. And for the SAM-E helpful supplement, I am not endorsing that you just willy-nilly go and take supplements, okay? Get your brain assessed. Figure out what it is you need. Everyone needs a multivitamin with proper amounts of vitamins and essential minerals, as well as fish oil to make sure that they have the proper amount of omega-3s, because that improves blood flow to your brain and it helps to build new neurons. What you need specifically, for example, the SAM-E, which is helpful for the sensitive brain type. Okay, if you consider yourself an empath, chances are that will be helpful, but it is not something you just jump into and do without considering how it affects you. Okay, you need to check with your doctor. So moving on here, food and 8. We went over that in everything that you got rid of from your cupboard. Make sure to limit alcohol and caffeine. It's very important because both reduce blood flow to the brain. Alcohol, I personally cut it out completely, and I really don't miss it. I don't miss having my wits about me. I don't miss having heartburn and difficulty with digestion, which alcohol can definitely contribute to poor digestion, as well as your brain just not functioning very well because it is a neurotoxin. Alcohol is not a health food. If you insist on having alcohol, you're not going to get the same benefits, but you will still get some. And limit it to no more than 4 normal size glasses a week. It's a normal size of alcohol. 1 ounce of hard liquor, 1 shot a day, and not every day, only 4 a week, right? 6 ounces of wine. Measure that. You know, it's very easy to have 2 glasses of wine in one, right? Or 8 ounces of beer. So if you're going to go there, make sure you limit it. That your brain has the capacity to clear out that neurotoxin. It can do it. If you have other issues like traumatic brain injury, or you're having issues with energy, digestion, brain fog, focus, you name it, eliminating alcohol will make a huge difference. And here's a big one that I'm not expecting. But I just went ahead and I followed what the Amen Clinic recommended. I limited and then cut out caffeine, even in green tea, although that's helpful for focus. Now that I've eliminated caffeine, I'm just blown away by how easy it is for me to focus, how I don't feel tired in the middle of the day, how I can think more clearly. Brain fog is gone. It's a non-issue. In addition to changing my diet, I believe eliminating caffeine and limiting it. Every so often, I'll have a half-calf cup of coffee. Half-calf. It's really remarkable how I thought I needed it, and it really was detrimental to my overall well-being. I had no idea. It was a habit. I just drank coffee, sometimes several cups a day. Limit it to no more than 150 milligrams a day. If you have a venti Starbucks coffee caffeinated, you're talking over 200 milligrams already. Don't go there. Get a half-calf tall, and that's it. And try it without any sweetener. Try it with, if you're going to put something for creamer in there, take a protein shake you enjoy. I have my coffee with this. It's like a mocha. It's great. I pour a little protein shake in there, and yeah, it isn't quite the same taste, but it only took about a week, and I was like, yeah, this feels normal. I'm enjoying the warmth of my cup of coffee. I digress. All right, so your Brain Warriors Way journal page for developing long-lasting healthy habits, we actually already went over all of this previously. This is an example of setting up your meals for all 14 days, perhaps, maybe just for a week. This is 10 days right here. This is straight from Tana Amon's recipes that you can find on mybrainfitlife.com. And planning ahead, preparing the ingredients, if not the meals, and refrigerating them so that they're ready for you makes all the difference in the world. I have a nice colorful cooler here, which I pack at the beginning of every day, and the night before I make sure it's all ready. Look at this bag of veggies. I have this every day. Make sure I get enough greens and fiber. I have my water in here. I have my fibers here. I have my supplements, and my protein shake is out here because I'm doing that now. I will have seltzers in here. Look, yeah, I have a couple seltzers. Okay, calorie free. It's bubbly, and so it's nutritious. If I'm tempted to snack, I have this instead. Now, you do want to have regular doses of protein. So I'm not saying don't snack at all. I'm saying when you're tempted to have something unhealthy, make a habit. Maybe put it on your note card. Divide it into 3 spaces. Why do you want to make the change? What's the health choice you want to make? I am pointing to an individual card. Why do you want to make the change? What's important to you? Why do you want to be healthy for yourself, for your kids, for your spouse, for your family, your friends, your community? What's the healthy habit? In this case, drinking seltzer whenever you feel a craving. And the unhealthy habit would be whatever you would normally reach for that's not good for you. And as you write those things down, you become more conscious of them, and you can begin to feel more and more normal, eating healthy, low-calorie, super nutrient-rich foods that help your brain thrive. So you can look online on mybrainfitlife.com to find these recipes, as well as the journal. So this is my personal sample of Brain Warriors Daily Regimen. So I make sure that I'm in bed by somewhere between 10:30 and 11 p.m., depending on when I need to wake up in the morning. I love to meditate and walk in the morning. And the only way I'm going to have to do that is if I go to bed on time, so I can get up with at least 7 hours. I prefer 8. I settle for 7.5 most of the time these days. That's one of the habits I'm improving with my habit card. All right. So, for example, in the morning, I have a strategy set up. I have this posted. I can remind myself, and I update it when needed. I get up and I use the bathroom. It's the first thing I do in the morning, right after I down a glass of water, a 12-ounce glass of water, and my morning supplements to get my brain right, get my focus right. And here's some examples of what I'm grateful for. I focus on a couple things that are my life. So I wrote down here, last I prepared this. This was from, I think, 3 days ago. I'm grateful for delicious decaf coffee with my protein shake and of cream I mentioned that Danielle loves to make for me every morning. How wonderful is that? She loves to make it for me. It makes her feel good to give. And I love being taken care of that way, just with something simple, a warm cup of coffee. And she smiles, I smile. I'm so grateful for that. It's a wonderful feeling. And so I wrote that in my gratitude journal. Uh, I'm grateful for progress in my exercise and my diet regimen. As things are improving, I'm feeling better and better. I'm feeling a flat stomach for the first time in about 2 years, maybe 3, since my ankle surgery 3 years ago. It's been a rough ride, and getting serious with these brain health habits have made such a huge difference. So I'm grateful for that. Uh, I'm grateful for a wonderful community of supportive friends and family, and all of you watch here to do this journey with me as a healthy, happy, and successful brain warrior. That day, I happened to be going to the post office. So as a person to appreciate, I wrote down the mail clerk. He was pretty patient with me as I was figuring out how to mail a package out, and writing it down helped me to react my focus of attention on an additional piece of gratitude, appreciation for one particular person in my life. I don't think I've ever written down before, but I happen to be in that place of remembering, oh yeah, that was really great. He was very patient with me. I'm grateful for that. And if you can say thank you to that person, or just that I appreciate you, or if that's not your style, do it in your mind. Your body and your neurology will respond to this. They've shown brain scans on focusing on resentment and hate and pessimism, and in particular the cerebellum, the back lower part of the brain, shows very low activity, which is a critical part of the brain. It contains half of our brain's neurons. And they compared that with that same person focusing on things they're grateful for, and the cerebellum just lit up like a Christmas tree, as it should in a healthy brain. So gratitude practice is not just some airy foo-foo thing that you do because you should. It has direct biological effects on making your brain function better, improving blood flow and overall function. And you'll be able to think clearly, your mood's more regulated, planning ahead. Your cerebellum works with your prefrontal cortex. How cool is that? Helps with thought and movement coordination. Little side note, I believe cerebellum is Latin for little brain. It's like a little mini brain that helps regulate the rest of our brain. How cool is that? All right. So, and then, as I mentioned before, evaluating on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best it could be, and 1 being the worst, all of these different areas. And you can see I added a couple extra things on my regimen. My healthy habits that day happened to be about an 8 out of 10. Sleep was 8. Chances are I got about just 7 hours of sleep. Pretty decent. 7.5, I'd probably give it a 9. If I got 9 hours of sleep, 8 hours of sleep, 8 or more, I'd give that a 10. But you get to rate this however you feel is best for you. And look at that. My weight last week, I guess, when I wrote this down, was 194. It's down to 191. It just keeps going down. From months ago, around mid-November, I was at 225 pounds. That's the heaviest I've ever been. And it was quite a motivation for me to get things going and get serious about my brain health. Side note, as your body size goes up, your brain size goes down, particularly in the hippocampus, which is critical for memory, learning, and even mood regulation. So around morning, I do something called heart rate variability training to not only calm the basal ganglia and manage anxiety and stress load, but it's a way of coordinating your breath and your cardiovascular system, your heart rate and your breathing, essentially. And there's this wonderful tool here. Let's see, a moment ago. Well, here's the box anyway. Unite is a wonderful company that has, oh, here it is. This little contraption called an IOM 2 device. And essentially, you just click the button to turn it on, and there's an app you can down on your phone, and there's either a finger sensor or an earlobe sensor. That's what this one is here. And you follow the guided meditations. I'm currently doing a Zen meditation now where he leads you through, and there's this expanding circle, and you inhale with the expanding circle. And as the circle contracts, you exhale. You follow that. It teaches your body to release stress and anxiety. So for those of you with the cautious brain type 5, and if you don't know what your brain type is, reach out. I'd be happy to give a brain type assessment questionnaire. Heart rate variability training is critical for creating coherence, or another word for it is resonance in your breathing. That is, your heart rate and your breath rate are coordinated appropriately. When we have high levels of stress or even trauma, those get out of sync because of this fight or flight, even collapse and freeze survival may get into. So it's very important to manage your stress levels, and heart rate variability training is a great way to do that. So Unite, the brand I use. There's also a wonderful one that the Amen clinics recommend called Heart Math, and you can get what I believe is called an M-Wave device. They do the same. So I will do a Curtain Kriya, that is a Kundalini meditation daily, which has been studied by the Amen Clinic specifically to improve the overall function of your prefrontal cortex, your cerebellum, which work together, calming the basal ganglia, and supports regulation issues in the temporal lobes. So this is a very simple meditation, and I'm going to create a YouTube video shortly, sometime this week over the next 14 days, taking you through the process. Although if you sign up for brainfitlife.com, again, I get no kickback for this. This is not something I get any sort of compensation for. I just love the program. Dr. Amen leads you through it as well. And when I complete it on my YouTube channel, you'll have my guided version as well. So essentially what it is you say the syllables sa, ta, na, ma. Do this for 12 minutes in a specific pattern where the first 2 minutes is out loud, sa, ta, na, ma, touching your index finger, your thumb to middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Comfortable. And after 2 minutes, the next 2 minutes is whispering. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. And next is silently in your own mind. So in your mind without saying it, even whispering. After you complete that 4 minutes, you go into another 2 minutes of whispering. Sa, ta, na, ma. And the final 2 minutes to complete 12 minutes is out loud again. Sa, ta, na, ma. So that's the gist. You can even take your phone and turn on the timer. I just do that because it's the simplest way for me to get right to it. I do that every morning, and they have shown studies that show a drastic improvement in these areas of the brain that I mentioned on SPECT scans through just 8 weeks of this practice. And I love the results of this so much that I continue to do it. It's been a long time doing this practice. And I just keep doing it because it's part of my life. I don't know. When I have time before or right after a morning client that I'm working with, either training or coaching or TRE or brain health coaching, whatever it is, I make sure I do at least 90 minutes of walking, 10,000 steps. There's this wonderful device that I use. By the way, step counter, you can get a cheap version online. Just look on Amazon. You can get them for as cheap as $5. This is one that I happen to like because it also measures your breath rate. So it gives you an idea, a readout on your app of not only your steps per day, but how you're breathing when you're not in motion. So when you're in motion, it measures steps and not. This little stone by this company called Spire, as in inspire, breathe. Air is the thing, and it measures when you're stressed, that is erratic breathing, that usually is shallow or stopped, and it will buzz to let you know. You can turn that buzzing on and off, or more or less intense. You can feel it or not, or maybe you don't want to know until the end of the day. When you check it out, you can adjust all those things. It also measures when you are calm, when your breathing is steady, and it's a slow pace. I believe it's below 12 breaths per minute. Whether you're focusing on your breath or not, it measures it. That rate that I just did in that one inhale and exhale, it's probably somewhere between 9 to 11 breaths per minute. You can go even slower as you do meditative state. And when you're focused, it's going to measure that by showing when you are breathing consistently, but a little bit faster. That's focused. So whatever step counter you might choose to get, measuring 10,000 steps a day has made a huge difference in my personal fitness journey, in my brain health journey. I highly recommend it. I do this program called Metabolic Aftershock. Now, that's just a clever name. It might sound intense. It's a 15-minute circuit training program. It's based on rest. I cannot recall the name right now, but if you're interested, reach out to me. It's the name of the guy who created it, but you can find it by looking up Metabolic Aftershock. It's 3 times a week, and it's given me rapid improvements in metabolism, strength levels, tone. Highly recommend it. It's based on resting whenever you need it, working as hard as you can during 15 minutes of circuit training, and as soon as you need to rest, you rest as long as you need to, and then you come back in. So it's at your pace, which is a very, very important thing if you want a sustainable lifestyle program. You want to make sure that you're not kicking your own butt. If any of you are Jim Carrey fans and watch that